The first thing we're going to learn about is our bow. So I have my bow here, and the different parts of the bow are the frog, the screw, the stick, the tip, of course the horsehair. And the part that we're going to look at first is the screw. We're going to figure out how to operate it. Now, a screw is literally a screw. And what it's in charge of is making this frog, this wood piece here, get tighter or more loose. So when I tighten this up or loosen it up, it'll make the horsehair get looser or more tight. So you can kind of see it in a quick, fast motion. Looser or more tight, all right? So when I tighten this up all the way, you can see this horsehair slowly getting tighter, right? So this is just pretty much how it works. And on the inside of your frog, you can see, once I get this out, the nut, this little guy right there. And just like there's a bolt and a nut, and the threads on the inside simply work like that on the inside. Now, depending on your age and your ability to manipulate these little things, you may not want to take this frog off quite yet, but I'm just kind of showing you how it works. So before we get started trying to hold the bow, we want to figure out how much tension we want to have on our bow or our horsehair. So when it's resting or I'm not playing the bow, I want to make sure that my horsehair is loose enough so that it comes down and touches this fulcrum point of the stick, right? If it gets too loose, you can start to see the hair hanging down or draping over the stick. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the hair not to be up high or taut so that there's space in between here, but just low enough where it's touching the wood, or in my case, carbon fiber. And when it's at that point, we know that we're ready to put away our bow or not play it anymore. And the reason why we loosen up that horsehair is because your bow will have a tendency to warp one way or the other if it's over time taut like that or has tension on the horsehair. Okay. Now, how do I know how much tension that I want to have on my bow? Part of it's feel, because every bow is weighted a little bit differently, and each bow is a little bit different with the person who's rehaired or put horsehair on their bow. And what we want to have is, I have a pretty small pinky, right? I'm a pretty small guy. I'm only 5'9". Now, my pinky, the width of my pinky, is about the width of space you want to have in between where the wood is and where the horsehair ends. Now, you can see that I'm putting my finger on the back side of the horsehair, which is okay, but what you never want to do is put your fingers on the part where you put the rosin. We haven't discussed rosin, but the front-facing part of our horsehair. So we have oil on our fingers, and we just don't want to get it mixed up with that resin, which we'll learn about rosin. The rosin, which we'll learn about later. Okay, so let's get our bow tight enough so that we can put our pinky in between the stick and the horsehair, and then we're ready to hold the bow.